A lot of rappers still, it seems like, want to be Tupac. They want to have his popularity. They want people to love them like everyone loves him. But why do you think no one's succeeding?
Well, because this is what they fail to realize about Tupac. In order for them to be Tupac, they would have to die before they peaked. Right before they peaked, they would have to die. So if you don't die, you can't do it. Bottom line, if you don't go die, you're not gonna be the next Tupac, because it ain't gonna be a next Tupac. Straight up.
Hello, my name is Cathy Scott. I am an author and news reporter, and the author of The Killing of Tupac Shakur and The Murder of Biggie Smalls, both bestsellers. And I am here today rocking it with Gab at MAKAVELI Media.
So, let's talk about your book, The Killing of Tupac Shakur. It's a very, very, very in-depth and deep read. Inside this book, and yes, wonderful book, put together beautifully. Inside the book, it has the very first picture, well, I believe the only picture that claims to be an official autopsy photo of Tupac's dead body. Some people try to say that the picture is Photoshopped. Some people say it's authentic. But you had the picture first. If you can go,
I have the original. Well, you have to understand how a coroner's office works, you know. And you want me to walk you through it?
Yeah, please. Take us through.
Yeah. So they did so he died, and their thing was they did know that there were people who wanted to get in, and their thing was they wanted, and Anna Faney had flown in from Georgia, and she was going to leave the next day, and she wanted to take Tupac's remains home with her. And so she, I'm trying to think, was it a Friday night or, I think was it a Friday night? Sorry. But anyway, she wanted to take him. So she had to choose a mortuary, because as soon as someone dies, then that's when all those things kick in. You have to start taking care of, you have to arrange for him to go somewhere. And so she arranged for him to go to a mortuary to be cremated. But in the meantime, homicide had to do their thing. And so the homicide unit, or the coroner's office, was right around the corner. He died at about 4:05 p.m. So coroner's office was still open. So because it was so high profile and so many people, and like you said, all the death threats and all of that coming in, the security of keeping him inside the hospital, they moved him to the coroner's office, and they do it through a basement. They put him in an elevator and went down to the basement and then drove him out. Nobody even saw it happen, and then he goes to, which is the old building. There's now a new building, and there were people looking through the windows and all of that stuff, and that's what one of the sergeant told me, because they had fire, paramedics in there, one or two. However, they had a detective, a sergeant. They have representatives from each law enforcement body and the coroner's office, and the coroner, of course, Ron Flood, and then I think it was two examiners, and then standard modus operandi for a crime, someone who dies because of a crime, and whether it's gunshot wounds or however it is, they take photos. It's standard. So you had, I was told there were 3 people taking photos. So Some have to go to the detective bureau. Some photos have to stay where everybody's got a file. A couple of photos stay with the coroner's office, and then the fire department, they've got a file as well. So you have my understanding there were like 3 sources, and it's not a big discussion. I'm not going to tell you what kind of a camera it was because that would point to who gave it to me, but because of the type of film they used. But then afterward, I'd have to look at my book really to go back to the date, but I was handed it by someone and said, I could have it, and I was flabbergasted, I was surprised, and of course I accepted it, and then it was a big discussion with my publisher, ethically wise, should we run it? But because of all the stories out there that Tupac faked his own death and all of that, we decided to go ahead and run it in the book in black and white. I have the original photo. I have the original color, I've got it digitalized, but I still have the photograph itself, but that's how it happened. And and I knew I was going to get, and then I called personally my publisher. We discussed it, that Tupac's family should know in advance, and so they're not shocked and hurt by it. And so I called. Afeni Shakur, his mother, was working at a New York law firm, and so I called the law firm. I think she was a legal assistant or something, and so I called and I spoke to the attorney, and I said, we just, wanted you to know that there is going to be a photo in our upcoming book that is going to be hard to view, and we just wanted to FYI you so you're not caught off guard. And later, I was on BET with Afeni, not too long after the book came out, and I was on BET with her about the case, and she was pleasant, said hello to me, and didn't say anything. She wasn't about things like that, she was all about his essence, his legacy, who he was. She wasn't about any hyperbole surrounding it, you know what I mean? Unlike Violetta Wallace and Biggie Smalls, she was about protecting his music and keeping, getting the museum or the whatever the center was they had for him, getting that going. That's what she was all about.